So today we're going to be talking about the TOPDON PHOENIX LITE scan tool that I've had for almost 3 years.
Come on, you p.
Alright, so I bought this tool, I think in 2021. When I bought it with an ADOS kit, and I kind of got a deal on it. So you can buy these on TOPDON's website right now, topdon.us. And the Lite version is $6.99, and then they have a just Phoenix version, which I think just comes with some OBD2 adapters. Don't even waste your money on that. Just buy the Lite version. $700 is a pretty good deal for this tool, considering I've had it for 3 years and it's done a majority of the things that I've needed it to do. I have seen this tool on like JDTCo's website for like $1,500. I don't know why. Do not buy it from them. Just go to TOPDON's website and buy it from them. So, like I said, I did buy this with an ADOS kit, and this thing did work really well for doing ADOS calibrations. There were a few downfalls that I think Autel is better at when it comes to ADOS capability. One is the dictation or the measurements. So when you buy the ADOS package, the instructions it gives you for measurements and stuff is kind of like translated from like Chinese to English. So it's kind of like broken English when you're reading the instructions, so some stuff doesn't make sense. So I wouldn't rely on this scan tool if you're doing ADOS for measurements for ADOS. I would get like, all data or Shopkey, whatever you can use in order to get the correct measurements and specifications, the correct procedures to do ADOS calibrations. Also, another thing I did notice with this tool and the TOPDON PHOENIX Elite, which I also had, was this tool for this tool, right? To do FCA vehicles, Chrysler vehicles, security gateway stuff, you have to pay an additional $45 fee in order to be able to access AutoAuth with this tool. With the TOPDON Elite, you don't have to pay an extra fee in order to do that, but TOPDON has ran into issues with getting clearance with AutoAuth in order to use their tools on AutoAuth, but I believe since then that has been resolved. So now TOPDON is AutoAuth authorized now. With this tool and the Elite, I had a lot of issues trying to do ADOS calibrations with FCA vehicles, especially the newer ones, which, let's be real, if you're doing ADOS calibrations, you're going to be working on, majority of them are going to be newer, later model vehicles. This thing does struggle with Chrysler vehicles. So if you work on mainly FCA, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, I wouldn't necessarily buy this tool. I would get an Autel or even a Launch. For scanning capabilities, this thing can do anything a professional scan tool can do. It has bidirectional functions, it'll scan all modules, it'll do special functions, it'll activate components. This tool is really good. I also love the reporting system on this. So when you scan a full car, and it'll basically bring up a complete vehicle report, and you can email that to your customer. I usually just email it to myself, but it's super quick, super intuitive, and it's a nice feature. As well as like when you do a full scan on the car, it'll pull up all the modules on the car, and then you hit clear all, it'll clear them, and then it'll reread all the modules to see if you have anything that's permanent, anything that's reoccurring. And that's a nice feature as well. I have been pretty impressed with some stuff this tool can do. For instance, I replaced a transfer case in a 335xi, and when you replace those transfer cases, you have to code the new module or the new T-case into the car, and this thing basically cloned the old one, recoded to the new one, and set up all the basic settings and everything, which was pretty impressive for this tool to do that. The dongle is kind of a downside of this tool. There is nowhere to attach a lanyard, and it's black. So I have left this in a couple cars. That is a downfall, but if you're not stupid like I am, you won't leave them in a car. It is nice that this comes with a little receiver to hold it. I do love that feature. So this is also on a Android-based tablet, so you can download whatever Android apps you want. You have Chrome, you have a camera. I wouldn't recommend using the camera on this, but it does have it. It has a file system, it has all that stuff. This did come with 2 years of updates, and I was told on one of my other videos that after the updates expire on this tool, that you are no longer allowed to use this tool, which is wrong. My updates have been expired for over a year now, and I'm still using this tool. Granted, I can't use it on the newest vehicles, but I still use it every day. And it doesn't just block you out because you're not paying for updates. So when the updates expire, you can still use this tool. You may not be able to use it on the newest, latest, greatest car, but most people in independent shops aren't working on 2024s right now anyways. So don't let that scare you away. This tool works really well on European vehicles, so like Land Rovers, BMWs, Audis, Volkswagens. This is actually the only tool I've been able to use on Porsche, believe it or not, for activating components or scanning modules, clearing faults, reading live data. My Autel will not talk to a Porsche at all. So I can't read live data. It'll pull check engine light faults. That's about it. This thing will do way more than my Autel. And I'm an Autel fanboy. I like Autel scan tools, but this for Porsche is my go-to because it works with Porsches way better than Autel can. I don't know why, but it does. This is a reskinned, ripped off launch scan tool. So I think if you buy a launch scan tool, it'll probably work just as well as this as far as Porsche goes. Some downfalls I do have with this tablet though. One is the charging port. They put this port, so this is like an Android tablet. It's like a Samsung tablet. I don't know, I haven't taken the case off. But then they put this rubber case on there, so it's really hard to get to the charging port. So if you lose the cable that comes with this to charge it, like I have, you're gonna have to modify another USB cord in order to charge this tool. Another downfall with this tool is it doesn't work super great on old vehicles. So anything older than like 2005-ish, I think, this thing doesn't like to talk to old cars. A lot like Autel. Autel does not like to talk to old vehicles, and I always rely on like my Snap-on or my Opus or the Blue Box in order to talk to older vehicles. So if you work on a lot of old stuff, don't buy this. I think 2005 and up is kind of the sweet spot as far as, you know, reliability on what it can and can't talk to. Another downfall with this tool is, and it's kind of becoming a common thing on all scan tools now that have wireless dongles, but these are serialized and they're basically coded to the scan tool. So if you lose this, it's not as simple as buying a new one and then, you know, this thing will connect to it. You have to contact TOPDON. They have to release this tool in order for you to reassign a new dongle to the tool, which is very annoying because I have lost this dongle before and I've had to replace it. And it's kind of a few day process in order to get that to work. Another downfall with this tool, if you're looking to do ADAS, is in order to use any of the ADAS functions in this tool, you have to have an ADAS subscription. It's not like Autel where even if you don't have an ADAS subscription, you can still go into, let's say, a collision radar sensor and perform an adaptation. So if you already know all the measurements, if you already have the reflector triangle and you have it all set up and you go into the radar calibration module and you hit adapt, an Autel will let you perform the adaptation. It won't block you. The only reason you pay for ADAS subscription with Autel is because it'll give you step-by-step, it'll give you the measurements, it'll give you, you know, all the Autel part numbers that you need in order to do that calibration. But I have noticed, like, so even on like a dynamic calibration on like a Chevy Tahoe, for instance, for lane watch, this will not let you do it if your ADAS subscription is expired. It will not let you access that module and perform the adaptation, which is really frustrating because, I'm not gonna say frustrating, it fucking pisses me off. Because if I'm buying a scan tool that's should be able to get into the car and do whatever function it is, it's up to me if I want to do that calibration. It is not up to TOPDON to tell me what I can and can't do with inside that module. So if I want to perform an adaptation on an ADAS system, I should be able to do it. I shouldn't have to pay a subscription fee in order to access that function. Snap-on, Autel, Opus, any other scan tool out there on the market, if you want to do ADAS calibrations and you don't have an ADAS subscription, you can still go in and perform an adaptation. Even if you don't know the measurements, that's up to you if you want to mess up the calibration and get all kinds of faults. But for me, you know, I'm well versed in ADAS. I do it all the time. I don't always need the measurements and stuff. I don't need a scan tool that'll tell me all the steps. I just want to hit adapt and be done. Calibrate, be done. This tool will block you if you don't pay for that. So I do not use this tool or any TOPDON tool for ADAS calibrations anymore. As far as coding and programming, this thing is it doesn't code and program. Okay, so on their website it says that it's capable of coding and programming, and yes, it can code some modules or set basic settings, but it's not going to program a ECM. It's not going to perform basic setting and adaptions on a brand new power steering control module on a Ford. You need a higher end scan tool to do that. Either, you know, an actual manufacturer scan tool or something like a MaxiSys Ultra scan tool that has that capability, that has a pass-through, that can connect to factory software in order to do the programming. A good rule of thumb is if it just has a basic little dongle, everything except YTech, because YTech is just the dongle, if it's a scan tool that just has the basic dongle, it's most likely not going to be capable of full module programming. So just keep that in mind. If you're looking for something that can do programming, this will not do it. If you need something that can do, you know, adaptions, calibrations, basic functions, basic settings, stuff like that, this tool will do it. 95% of the work that you have to do in the independent, you know, space of automotive repair, this tool is capable of doing, unless you work on stuff older than 2005 or, you know, super new, where you're going to need manufacturer specific tooling. As far as 3 years in, the battery lasts a very long time. You know, the software hasn't been super glitchy or buggy. It works on most of the stuff I need it to work on, and some stuff it doesn't work on, but that's okay. That's why you have to have multiple scan tools in the shop. Stuff that I majorly work on, which is like Land Rover and some Jeeps, BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, this scan tool works great on all of them, and it does a lot of stuff really well. Some stuff it does better than other scan tools that we have in here that should be more capable, like the Opus Wave Drive Pro. This thing is better at like performing battery calibrations or registrations and service resets, as opposed to like the Opus Wave Drive Pro, which is like, it's a massive process in order to do that stuff. This thing just works. Also too, this works way better on Porsche than like an Autel scan tool or a Snap-on scan tool. I don't know why, but this is what I use for Porsche. I think it's worth $700. I think TOPDON has other options that are in that same price point that probably are just as capable as this now, that have come out after, you know, I bought this, that is a newer model. But for $600 to $700, this is a good scan tool. If you're looking at buying one secondhand and you're getting a good deal on it, it's a good scan tool. Again, you're going to have to contact TOPDON and have them wipe the serial number out of whoever had it prior so that you can register this into your own name, or else you won't be able to use any of the functions. If you can't sign into your own account on this, it won't let you talk to a car, which is another downfall, but it's kind of, again, another norm. Autel makes you do the same thing. I believe Launch is the same way. But that's just kind of how the scan tool industry is going at this point in time. But yeah, for someone like me who works on cars day in, day out and uses this for a good chunk of stuff, it has been a great scan tool. I do not anticipate on buying any software updates or anything like that for it. To be honest, once this thing dies, I will probably just throw it in the trash and buy another Autel, just because I like the interface of the Autel better. But this is definitely a good scan tool for the price. It's convenient. It's nice to read live data while you're driving because it has a strap and you can just hold it in your hand while you're driving, and it, you know, you won't drop it. It's nice that the dongle is always with it, and it's a good tool, and it's also pretty shockproof, so that's nice. But yeah, if you have any questions on this tool, if you want to know any specifics that I didn't cover, this is kind of more of a rant than like an itemized review. But yeah, if you have any questions on it, shoot it in the comments. I'll answer them. And anyways, thanks for watching.